never meant to follow the script. It's time to rewrite your story through the noise around you. People think that we all get stuck for different reasons. The most common reason that people will assume is discipline. And while that might be the case, sometimes that's not your problem. Sometimes your problem isn't the activity, it's the understanding. And if that's the problem, more activity doesn't necessarily lead to more understanding. So what's the real issue? Well, I don't know what your real issue is, but it could be that you're just living in a story that someone else wrote. And what do you mean? So I use education because that's my greatest asset of experience. And if we look at the system of education, you'll see it comes with its own narrative. So anybody who comes into the education institution is under that narrative. And so for me, like education, that narrative is pretty simple. You might not agree, and that's cool. I ain't never got a problem with a disagreement. But for me, when I look at the whole scope of things, when I look at the bird's eye view, education is just a system that is formed for specialized recruitment. That's the narrative for me, because that's what makes most sense. You'll see this in the pathways in which you go through general education. In early years, you take these small children who has these big personalities, big emotions, imagination through the roof. And the education system starts to direct that imagination into specific paths. They start to calm down that energy into a more controllable method. Control sounds harsh, but I ain't got another word for it right now. So that's what we'll use. And then as you go on to secondary school, you start to realize that after they controlled and dimmed down the imagination and the ideas, now they start to push you to accomplish tasks. Now these tasks have no real meaning behind it. It's all just to push you through the program to get you to post-secondary school. And then in post-secondary school, that's where you start to really specialize in what you can do. You start to take your interest into one finite direction. And it's all, that whole system is to recruit you so that you're prepared to progress the corporate model that we currently have. And so the whole system is for that end goal, to progress the corporate model. And so if you are going through school with all these ideas and you see the direction the school is taking, you start to disconnect from it a little bit because you don't understand why you're taking me in this direction when I want to go a different direction. Why are you showing me these plays when I want to know a different play? And trying to create a beautiful painting that we call life, when the place that you go that's supposed to assure that you can create this beautiful painting is giving you limited colors. But don't worry, we're all brilliant by nature. So we can still paint that beautiful picture with all the colors our imagination has inspired us to create with. We just have to pick up the ingredients to make the other colors. At least the colors that's not provided that we need for our beauty. And that's what happens. And that's where narrative comes into play. Because it's important that you create your own personal narrative. So when you go to places that already have a bigger narrative around you, you know why you're there. You understand how you can utilize the bigger narrative to support your narrative. And to be honest, this is something all of us been doing. A narrative is the story that we tell ourselves to solidify the beliefs we keep, the judgments we enact, and even the actions that we take. These are the stories that play along that convince us that I'm as cute as I look. These are the stories that play that ensures us I can make a play on anybody. These are the narratives that we create for ourselves. But sometimes they come out a little unintentional. And they just so happen to happen. And that's where we want to lean from. Because when we start allowing our narratives to just happen to happen, it's generally happening from a bigger narrative. You'll see this play out in media sources all around, even social media watching me. You'll see a message or a storyline projected to create a certain idea or a certain feeling or a certain thought. It's all behind the narratives. So today we're going to start thinking about how do we create our own in an intentional fashion to where we reap the benefits. We understand everybody's narrative is for their own benefit in most cases, but we can make ours specifically special for us. So let's start with how do we start? Let's start with how do we start? And that's pretty simple. The narrative is the story that documents your path to believing. So you start with the end in mind. What are you going after? What are you trying to attain? What are the goals? What are the aspirations? What are the dreams? What is the most beautiful painting of your life you can see? That's where you want to start. Because if you put the end in mind, you can start to orchestrate the path. Regardless of the bigger narratives, regardless of the bigger situations around you, you can start to maneuver. But you have to have that end goal in mind of where you're trying to get to. It's like having a GPS that's just as confused as you, where you're trying to go. You'll drive around with no pure destination. You'll lose gas like everybody, your car will break down like everybody else, but you never seem to get where you was trying to go like everybody else got. And so you start there. But it's even bigger than that, because when you create this beautiful, beautiful picture that we're going to call your life, you want a certain environment around you. And so the next question becomes, who is affected when I paint this beautiful picture? When I create the masterpiece of my life, who all is involved? Sometimes we create dreams that can't carry the people that we love. Sometimes we create ideas that are outside of the relationships we currently have. So we have to be prepared. Why? Because we're on a journey to that end goal. And if I'm not aware of who's involved when I attain this goal, or who's affected when I attain this goal, I might not be okay with letting them go. I might not be okay with bringing in someone new. I might not see how the distance between us, or the closeness that has gained between us, I might not see how that relates to the end goal. So I'm painting this beautiful picture but I gotta know who's all affected by it, so I can include them in the end goal. And not based on my ideas, based on the ideas they express to me. Because of our relationship. So I have to pay attention to the relationships I want to keep at that end goal, because if I don't, I might create a dream that doesn't include them. And that can be an fulfilled goal. And we don't want that in our narratives. We don't want to achieve the highest all along. We want to bring people with us. And I guess the last thing I wouldn't say the last thing. I guess it's kind of the most important, it just depends on how you look at it. In this narrative that we're creating, who are you becoming? Who is the person that you see at the end? The person that starts the race is not the person that finishes it. In any race you ever done. However you felt at the beginning is not how you felt at the end. It's never the same. And it's true for this as well. As you start to build this storyline out and create this environment around you, you gotta know who you're gonna become. That's important. Are you going to be a better version of yourself, or is this journey going to beat you down and tear you up? If that narrative is going to tear you up and make you less than what you are now, is it the one that you really want? Generally, when we have goals and aspirations and dreams that we want to accomplish, it's to build us to a higher level. It's to create strength where there's weakness. It's to create thought where there's no thought. It's to create something out of nothing. But you gotta know what that something is. You gotta know what that something is. What kind of character are you bringing? Is the person that's gonna have all these people looking up to you, like you have all these people around you looking up to you, are you presenting the qualities that are worth looking up to? Do you have those yet? Is there intention to grab those on your journey? These are the things that the narration of education, the institution of education, isn't currently considering. So you have to take ownership of self and consider these things. Now, it sounds like a lot of work. Let me tell you, it can be. Understanding where you want to go, who you want to bring, and what you want to become is a life journey process, a beautiful one. You have 1-year goals, 5-year goals, 10-year goals, 50-year goals. And each transition presents the same situation. Where am I going? Who's coming with me? Who am I becoming? And that work invested in yourself can be a massive gain for you, even financially, not even just in your relationships, not even just your self-confidence, not even just your impact, but also in your pocket. What do you mean? Having clarity can present some amazing opportunities for you in ways that you can't imagine. It's the surprises of nature. So I'm a goofy guy that likes to sit in trees and, walk in parks and, be in the woods. I love nature. I love sitting and observing nature. And anytime you sit and observe nature, you become accustomed to surprises. You expect them, whether it's a sound, whether it was a sight, whether it was a smell, even a taste in the air. It's surprises everywhere when you're consumed in nature. I can be just sitting there waiting on a deer, and I hear loud crunching noises behind me. This squirrel's playing. I don't know where they came from. I don't know what tree they climbed from. I don't know what path brought them to my lane, but I can hear them and I can watch them and observe them playing with each other. And while I'm sitting there observing these two squirrels be goofy with each other, look like kids rolling around playing in dirt, a deer is 50 yards away. The surprise of a massive animal is right in my presence. And this happens all the time. Honestly, this is why some people are fearful of nature and fearful of the dark, because you know there's going to be a surprise. But then honestly, we all love surprises. So in creating this narrative, expect the surprises. Now, when we live in a city, like as I do now here in Kansas City, you don't get that constant reminder that it's natural to be surprised. You wake up in the same bedroom, probably adjusted exactly how it was when you went to sleep. You go outside and you see all the same houses, same cars in your same neighborhood. You generally follow the same path to the same place that you stay most of the day, talking to the same people about the same things over and over again. So you're not aware of the changes that are constantly occurring around you. Even if your favorite tree looks different day to day, but you might not notice its growth. And being surrounded by these type of environments start to detach us from the natural perspective of life. And I say all that to bring it all back. Those natural processes in life can pay huge dividends in all aspects. I said that taking on this journey can be an amazing opportunity, not only for yourself and the clarity that it provides, but financially, because I know that's important to just about everybody. What I'm talking about, creating a narrative for yourself to live with, is what is now referred to in the marketing industry as branding. And whether it's whoever your favorite YouTuber is, whoever your favorite influencer is, they are marketing themselves as the brand. And you could do the same. You can start to create this idea around who you are with clarity, document it, and people will watch that journey through with you. And there's massive opportunities that can come from it. So this work that we're doing, this work that I'm encouraging you to apply, can help all aspects. Can help all aspects if applied with intention. And that sounds all well and good, but you got to know where to start. And not to start conceptually, because our ideas never hit the reality plane until we transition the concepts into reality. So where do I start to transition? It's still with the same practices I always talk about. 3 things that we always need to do: write, read, meditate. And to create your narrative, it's more about what you write. It's important to start journaling the ideas that come to mind when you think about those questions. Journaling with the big picture perspective and considering the laws of nature with that. Writing down your ideas, writing down your thoughts, and writing down your plans, your narratives, your beliefs, it solidifies them in physical form. The idea space changes frequently, but when we put it in writing, it solidifies it a little bit more. And journaling can help us start to answer these questions in a way that where we don't have to have the answer right now. If I only think about these questions, my answer might change every time I think about it. But if I journal these questions, I'm picking up right where I left off. I'm not backtracking and creating these loops of chaos. I'm in a linear path to my goal. Now that path might spiral, but I'm still on the trajectory to where I want to go. And why is this important? It's important that you have control over the story that you are the main character of. This painting of your life is all about you. The people you know, the people you impact, the people you love, the lives you change. You have to have control of the story so the main character can be the hero. The main character is you. At least for your story. You are the masters of your decisions. And that is definitely different than choices. Decisions and choices are definitely different. But you're the master of your decisions, your judgments, and your actions. Take full control of that. Take full control of controlling the avatar that exists on this plane. I talk to kids about video games a lot. Well, not a lot, but I use the analogy of video games a lot. And what we're trying to do is understand the controller so that we can play any game that's popped in. If we don't understand how to press the buttons, it becomes difficult no matter how simple the game is. And that's why taking these steps to control my decisions, control my judgments, control my actions, those are all my controls. Those are my buttons. I have to control when they're pressed and how they're pressed. And then just for mental health, that being a huge thing. I think the narrative of mental health is a little daunting because in most cases when I hear it, it's stated in the sense of there's no progression. Like, oh, you have a mental illness and you're just stuck with it. And that is farthest from the truth. Even identifying with these mental illnesses, that's creating situational narratives. That's creating ideas in your story. For someone to tell you, oh, you can't concentrate, you got ADHD. Now, when you step into an arena where concentration is important, you already feel defeated because of the story someone else told. And so knowing where you're going changes the journey everywhere. So when you are approached with someone else's narrative that they want to give you, you can already have a list of checks and balances and nah, that don't fit me, G, you can keep it. ADHD, I don't like it, you can keep it. ADD, I don't like it, you can keep it. You can be ADD. I know how to add, but you can be ADD. I know how to focus on what's important to me and you ain't showed me nothing important. So I can't accept your observation of what you see. And that is empowering to have. That is so freeing to know. I don't have to accept, even no matter where you are, whether you're in high school, college, middle school, work, I don't have to accept that. I have my own narrative. I have my own story that I'm playing out. You want to be a part? You might find a co-star. You want to be a part? You might find an extra. You want to be a part? But I don't have to accept the script you give me. What is the story of life? Where is the story of life taking you? Maybe you don't know. because you only saw it through the narratives of other people, other situations, other institutions, other systems around you that have created the narrative that you're just fitting into. Begin to explore the ideas that excite and energize you. And it includes the benefit and best for all involved. Because when you get to that end, you want that celebration to have all your favorite faces. You want that congratulations to come from all your exciting text message friends. You want that post to get likes because of the love that's behind it. Not because of the dopamine emotional hit that we get in our ego. That's not it. That's not what we're doing it for. It's too much work. It's too much involved for this to just be a quick dopamine hit for some likes on a picture. I didn't just lay out some cute outfit that took me 15 minutes. I put in years of work. I put in time and energy into this story and narrative that I created for who I am. This beautiful picture that I created. It's not easy, but it can be beautiful. And if you can create that beauty in your life, that narrative, it can start to align everything else. And you might not get to leave schools. You might have to still stick it out this semester. You might have to finish that capstone and graduate. But you know why you're doing it. You know why this place is involved in your life. And you know how to make it best for it. So what I want you to do is in the comments, go ahead and leave me a comment about a story that you feel like you've been living that you really didn't create. Throw a sentence in there. I've been playing soccer for 12 years and I never really wanted to play. And that'd be a long time. God dog, don't do that. But whatever the case may be, share it. Cuss word. Freaking A.